Welcome everyone to another edition of the Classic Comic Archive, a series where I recap and review many of Marvel Comics' most seminal early issues. Our story for today is Tales to Astonish 36, cover dated October of 1962. This issue marks the second appearance of Ant-Man and the first of obscure villain Comrade X. The issue was written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber and drawn by Jack Kirby. Our issue opens up with a striking splash page, teasing Ant-Man's coming battle with the wicked Comrade X. But before we can witness this epic showdown, we must first travel to the inside of a bank. It's there that three moronic criminals have somehow found themselves trapped within the very vault they intended to rob. Waiting for them outside are the police, who have enlisted the aid of Ant-Man in opening it. Thanks to his size-altering power, he's able to shrink himself and fit within the vault's delicate lock. Then by manipulating its tumblers with his full-sized strength, he's able to open it. Thus the three criminals inside are forced to surrender, giving Ant-Man yet another well-publicized victory. But the issue then suddenly shifts focus to the office of a Soviet general. Evidently word of Ant-Man's incredible abilities have reached Russia, where the ambitious officer hatches a plot to steal them. He seeks to learn the secret of Ant-Man's shrinking power, so he can replicate it and apply it to his own soldiers. He envisions a future where they can effortlessly sneak behind enemy lines while tiny and then ambush full-sized. An advantage like this would surely prove insurmountable and thus allow the Soviet Union to win the Cold War. So he summons his greatest spy, the mysterious Comrade X, and orders him to capture Ant-Man and learn his secret. But before we can see any more of the villain's plot, the issue shifts forward several days later and to an American police station. It's there that a distraught woman is begging to be put into contact with Ant-Man. She claims that it's a matter of life or death, but the police tell her that it isn't possible, as they don't know how to contact him. Apparently he just shows up to crimes unannounced, defeats the criminals, and then leaves just as quickly. While the police may never know his secret, the issue then reveals it to us, as nearby in an ordinary trash can are several ants. They are a part of a secret network strategically scattered around the city. They listen intently for anyone in need, and whenever Ant-Man's name is invoked, they send tiny electrical impulses that are passed on to the laboratory of Dr. Hank Pym, where he uses his advanced equipment to translate them into intelligible messages. Thus he's just learned of the woman's plight as well as her exact location. Being the hero he is, he quickly rushes to change into his Ant-Man costume and administer his shrinking serum. Yet it should be noted that he's recently developed it into a gaseous form, rather than a potion that needs to be ingested. But regardless of how it's taken, it works, and thus Ant-Man races off to help the woman in need. Yet as tiny as he is, it's not as if he can just drive to the police station. Instead he's created an ant-sized passageway from which he can travel in and out of his laboratory. And inside is a miniature cannon, which the crafty hero climbs into and is powerfully shot out of. Its force takes him deep into the city, where his fall is broken by a massive pile of ants. From there, he climbs onto one of its backs and rides it to the police station. But just as he arrives, the woman exits the building and gets in a nearby taxi. Thus he sneaks into the cab unnoticed and then climbs into her purse and is taken to her apartment. It's there that he reveals himself and asks why she wanted to speak with him. Thus the startled woman explains that she'd recently been in Europe. While there, she had fallen in love with a man who she only later realized was Comrade X. But he'd callously cheated on her, and now she wants revenge on him for breaking her heart. That's why she was trying to contact Ant-Man, as somehow she knows of the spy's latest mission and wanted to warn the hero of his arrival. But that's not all, as she also knows that he's currently hiding out on a freighter docked at a nearby pier. She tells this to Ant-Man, who in turn races out of her apartment to confront Comrade X while he has the element of surprise. Thus the issue shifts forward sometime later, as Ant-Man and his legion of insects have arrived at the villain's freighter. Thanks to their size, they're able to board the ship unseen. Or so they think, as they've actually just tripped a hidden alarm that alerts Comrade X and his goons to their presence. Thus as Ant-Man approaches the seemingly clueless villains, they ambush him and trap him within a glass cage. It seems that Comrade X has just secured an easy victory, as all he has to do now is sail back to Russia with the hero in tow. But Ant-Man's not as defenseless as he seems. While it's true that he can't break through the glass, he can still send electric signals through its tiny air holes. These reach any ants in the nearby area, who are then compelled to throw tiny bits of wood off of the pier. Riding them like boats, the ants are then able to float to the freighter and climb aboard through its anchor. This time they're not noticed and are next ordered to sting the foot of a nearby goon. They do, and the sudden pain causes the crook to drop his rifle onto Ant-Man's cage. The impact shatters the prison and allows him to flee deeper into the ship through a mousehole. His first stop is its radio room, where an operator wearing headphones is diligently listening to his equipment. Thus he can't hear as Ant-Man climbs onto the ceiling and yanks down a lamp. The light crashes into his head and knocks him out, giving Ant-Man an opportunity to grow to full size and radio contact the Coast Guard. Once he's done, he shrinks back down and sneaks into the office of Comrade X. Yet the villain was waiting for him and prepares to defeat him with a spray of knockout gas. But it's then that Ant-Man's insect allies suddenly appear and disable the room's light. With it now plunged in darkness, Ant-Man is able to climb onto Comrade X's shoes without being noticed. The hero then takes inspiration from a classic schoolhouse prank and ties together the villain's shoelaces. Thus, as Comrade X takes his next step, he trips and falls. Before he can get back up, the ants swarm his body and shockingly rip his face off. Wait, no, it's just a mask. Thus it's revealed that Comrade X is really Madam X, none other than the woman from earlier. Yet Ant-Man had actually known this all along, as he'd discovered the mask while hiding within her purse. While her cover might be blown, Madam X is still determined to defeat Ant-Man. But she won't have the chance, as it's then that the Coast Guard arrive to apprehend her and her goons. The issue subsequently ends several minutes later, as Ant-Man is leaving the ship after Madam X has been taken into custody. One guardsman wonders who the hero is, but another speaks up and says that it's his secret and that after all he's done, they owe it to him to keep it that way. That concludes Ant-Man's second appearance in Tales to Astonish 36 and another episode of the Classic Comic Archive. But as always, I would like to offer a brief review of this issue. Overall, I thought that this was a fairly average and unremarkable story. It's just another of several recent issues that involve Soviet agents trying to steal scientific knowledge. We've seen it in Thor, Iron Man, and Spider-Man stories before, and I'm sure the trope will pop up in several more issues. Yet I do want to point out that the latter two, like this one, also feature masters of disguise with the actor and chameleon respectively. Madam X might just be the most interesting of the three, but really only because of the twist that she's a woman. Other than that, she, nor the other two are that intriguing, and I'm starting to think that the whole master of disguise gimmick just doesn't produce good villains. But in any case, let me know what you thought of this issue and the video, and feel free to suggest other classic comics for me to cover. Thanks for watching.